Did you know by your 30s, you've lost 10% of your skin collagen, that precious protein that keeps the skin full and supple? And by the age 40, you've lost 20% of it. By the time you get to your 40s and 50s, the slope really accelerates and it's massive amount of collagen loss and thinning and all the aging changes that we've talked about in the past. As a facial plastic surgeon, I have heard from people day in and day out how they wish they could turn back the clock and look as young as they feel. And the reality is what you do in your 20s literally sets you up for success in your 40s and 50s and beyond. Even if you're listening to this and you are already in your 40s and 50s, don't let that stop you, because every bit of advice I'm about to give applies to you, as well as sharing with your children, your loved ones, and help them get on the right path. There's no secrets here. Everything that I'm sharing here is literally exactly what my wife, Netta, who is now 53, has done and has really been responsible for keeping her skin looking amazing from her 20s all the way up until her 50s, and in fact, getting younger and younger year after year. And if we haven't met already, I'm Dr. Amir Karam. I'm a board-certified facial plastic surgeon. I'm also the founder and creator of Karam MD Skin. I specialize in facial rejuvenation, which basically means I help people look as young as they feel. This channel is designed to empower you and help you make good decisions. So if you love getting inside information on skin and facial anti-aging, make sure you subscribe to this channel. All right, so let's get right to it. So what is it that makes the skin look aged as we go through the decades? The reality is it's structure, it's collagen. Collagen is the macromolecule that maintains the thickness, suppleness, and really the shape of the skin. Now, a certain amount of this collagen loss, as we described, is natural. The cells in the skin, the fibroblasts, become lazy as the years go on, and they really accelerate their inability to produce collagen and elastin, some of these important molecules, as the decades go on. Your entire protocol is based on maintaining the collagen that you have. And the fact is, it's completely in your control. You have total authority and ability to maintain that precious macromolecule for the rest of your life. So here are 5 anti-aging mistakes that I see people in their 20s make, and as a result, they get off track and their skin begins to age. So avoid these mistakes and keep your skin looking young forever. Tip number 1 is probably the most important tip, and without this, it's a non-starter. All right, let's get into it. Mistake number 5, leading an unhealthy lifestyle. And what do I mean by that? We mentioned that there's a number of things that are biologically causing the skin to lose collagen. Estrogen levels, senescence, which is kind of a tiring out of the cell's ability to maintain and produce certain proteins, like in this case, fibroblasts producing collagen. But there are things that you can do physically from a lifestyle point of view that's accelerating the process. Perhaps number 1 is smoking. Smoking has been widely and literally known forever to be an incredible accelerator of skin aging. It breaks down collagen, it causes the skin to go through it. And you really see this when you look at people who are lifetime smokers. You see changes in the skin that are not seen normally, even in normal biological aging. Things like smoking, vaping, massive accelerators. You want to avoid those things. Drinking excessively is harmful for the skin. At the end of the day, drinking alcohol is a toxin. It dehydrates the skin. It has certain effects on the biology of the skin, all of which can have negative effects. Now, let's be realistic. You're in your 20s. It's the time of fun and joy and going out and partying and doing all these different things. And occasionally, it's not gonna cause any major problems. So I'm not advocating that you completely abstain from these things. But if you make this a regular part of your life, every day vaping, smoking, drinking a lot, etc., you will no doubt accelerate your skin aging process. And remember, healthy skin starts from within, right? Skin is simply an organ on the body. So the way you treat your insides is gonna reflect how your skin looks on the outside. Mistake number 4, not maintaining consistency on your skincare. In this case, I wanna make something very clear. Skincare in the 20s looks very different than skincare later on. But at the end of the day, consistency is the key. And without consistency, you're literally not getting the most out of the processes that you implement into your lifestyle that can improve your skin. And that is true for the rest of your life. And it is a fundamental premise of the Karam MD philosophy, which is basically consistency, continuity, and commitment is the path to great skin. So most people in their 20s, you're bouncing around from job to job, you're in classes, etc. And oftentimes you simply just don't make consistency a priority. And instead, you might even be thinking, oh, I'm gonna go in for a bigger treatment at some point later on to wipe away some of the damages. That's never a good tactic. Because remember, consistency affects how the cells behave at that cellular level. And that's where you want to impact change. So what's the correct things you should be doing in your 20s? Number one, don't sleep with makeup. Makeup clogs pores, it creates all sorts of skin barrier function issues. You want to make sure no matter how tired you are, how much party you've done, you come home and you cleanse your skin. Ideally, you cleanse your skin twice a day, morning and night, with a gentle daily cleanser. The one that we included in our trifecta is rinse, which is a very, very gentle, moisturizing, anti-inflammatory type of a cleanser that cleans the skin without drying it. And now it's really important you understand that, because drying the skin with a sudsy type of a cleanser can lead to breakouts, it can lead to dryness, it can lead to all sorts of things that make the skin actually appear worse. So a soothing, gentle daily cleanser is the way to go. Non-foaming is a must. Apply moisturizer at night before you go to bed. Make sure the skin is properly moisturized, and in the morning, cleanse the skin one more time, and then apply SPF before you go out. Do whatever it takes to maintain consistency. Put alarms in your phone, write it down, sticky notes, etc. But let these things start happening on a daily basis so they become habit forever. Now, my wife, for example, has been doing everything that I just said since her 20s. It's just second nature to her. There's no way that she can go to bed without cleansing her face and taking off the makeup and applying her skincare, etc. This can become a very normalized habit for you, but it starts with taking active measure to form the habit. And if you do that now, this is where you're going to start to see long-term effects in your benefit. Mistake number 3, chasing unnecessary treatments, especially trendy ones, things that you see on the internet. People are inundated with great ideas that show up on TikTok and Instagram and Reels and all these different things, and it's hard sometimes not to be influenced and go in one direction or the other. But the reality is, in the 20s especially, there's no need for anything exceptional. Doing big treatments like lasers and chemical peels and microneedling and even Botox and fillers really don't have a place in your 20s. So if you are thinking about these things, truly educate yourself and make sure if there's one video you're gonna watch, you watch the video on trending procedures that you simply do not want to do. And as a facial rejuvenation surgeon, honestly, if I don't like it, it's unlikely that you will like it as well. But remember, even though some procedures might not be right for you, others will be, and there's indications that are specific to certain problems that each of these procedures can solve. Even though there are some of them that I just consider completely pointless, there's others like chemical peels or specific lasers that can improve or solve certain particular problems, but it's rare in your 20s and 30s. Mistake number 2, not adding actives in your skincare routine in your 20s. So what are actives? Actives are things that are changing the cell's behavior, ideally in your favor. Specific ingredients like retinol, vitamin C, niacinamide, peptides. These are ingredients that are found in skincare products that are not just moisturizing the skin, they're not just cleansing the skin, but what they're doing is they're changing the expression of the cells. And in this case, what they're doing is they're stimulating the production of more collagen at the cellular level, and they are decreasing the production of melanin at the cellular level. So therefore, your skin becomes thicker, brighter, and less pigmented, all the things that are associated with aging. However, there's something very important to mention here. Most of these actives that you find over the counter and online are simply too strong for 20-year-old skin. And the reality is you don't need them to be at high concentrations for them to affect the skin in the right way. Remember, you already have good levels of collagen. What you're trying to do is preserve them. But you don't want the redness and the irritation and all the things that are associated with certain actives. And if you haven't already, take a look at my recent video that discusses retinol and irritation if you're considering this. But I'm going to share with you in a moment some other ways that you can include these actives and tolerate them in a better way. And this is one of those components that if you're watching this in your later decades, this is absolutely another one of those things that you can totally apply today and start to see your skin improve year over year, decade over decade. But the key again is consistency, because actives, they work at that cellular level. So the minute you stop, everything starts to float back towards natural aging. And that is not what you want. You want to continue marching forward and not taking steps back so that you can see progress and gain over time. Okay, so here is the conundrum. I'm sharing with you that you need to be on active so that your skin can see improvement. The reality is most people can't stay on these strong actives because of the irritation and the challenges that are associated with it, as well as the fact that, especially in your 20s and 30s, keeping up with multi-component regimens, routines is simply not compatible with normal life. One of the things that I did, because I've heard so much from my patients how challenging it is and how little tolerance they have for some of these actives, I've actually decided I was going to formulate a product that basically made the inclusion of these actives completely tolerable and easy to maintain consistency with. So the product that I developed was the trifecta. And the trifecta was basically a dream of mine to be able to help people land on the right routine without all the excuses that led to inconsistencies. What is the trifecta? It's a cleansing step, step 1. Step 2 is a potent triple vitamin C plus anti-inflammatory. It's called Quench. Step 3 is Illuminate, which is really the powerhouse product. But the beauty of it, in addition to having retinol, vitamin C, peptides, niacinamides, hyaluronic acid, all the things that any skin would benefit from, especially in your 20s, a low-dose, slow-releasing retinol and vitamin C is really the key to establishing consistency, because without all the undesired side effects with these actives, you're able to carry on and apply them to your skin and keep your skin marching forward, which is literally the most amazing thing you could do for yourself at that stage of life. So it makes it extremely simple. I'm proud of the product because it's not only effective, easy use, and different than anything else that exists on the marketplace, but mainly because of the response and how thrilled our patients are who've been on it for years. I really consider this the ultimate epitome of excellence in skincare. And if you're interested to take a look at what's in the trifecta and learn more about it, take a look at our website and ultimately try it for yourself. And for the last 4 years since it's been available, this is literally all that I use on my skin and all that my wife uses on hers. And 90-something% of our patients who have surgery with me use the trifecta, in addition to over 12,000 people who are using it daily and loving it. All right, so let's move on to mistake number 1. You probably have heard me talk about this and you probably can guess what that is, but I'll never stop sharing this with you. Mistake number 1 in anti-aging skincare in your 20s is underestimating the sun. The sun will age you more than anything, more than biology, more than smoking. In fact, there's some studies that show between 70 to 80 to 90% impact from the sun in terms of skin aging. That's crazy. But if you think about it, there's a reason behind it biologically. The UVA light from the sun breaks down collagen, breaks down elastin. It pigments the skin by increasing the production of melanin. So you get sunspots, wrinkles, thinning, crepiness, all of which comes from the sun on top of the biological changes that are happening normally. What you see is people who have maintained sun protection throughout their life have unbelievable skin, even in their 70s and 80s and whatever. Even my wife's skin has gotten better, and she is a diehard sun avoidance advocate. So what does it take to do that? So the simple practices, the daily practices, obviously start off your day with an SPF. And I've done videos showing you exactly what to look for in the sunblock that you're going to use. But basically, you want something that is broad spectrum, typically zinc or titanium oxide based, and something that is waterproof, because if you're out sweating and working out, etc., you want the effects to last. You reapply, you wear a hat, and if you can, you walk on the shady side of the road or jog on that side or sit under shade, etc. Enjoy the outdoors, enjoy the sun, but be aware that your facial skin is going to take a hit. So do the things that you can to limit the exposure to your skin. Not to mention the other aspect of sun avoidance, which is preventing or decreasing the rate of skin cancers. That is directly correlated to how much sun you get. And in fact, it's the UVB portion of the ultraviolet light that is stimulating the cells that form skin cancers, basal cells, squamous cells, and even melanomas. And if you happen to also have a condition called melasma, which my wife also has, sun protection is an incredibly important non-starter for any type of treatment. Now, if you look at her skin today, you would say she literally doesn't look like she has any melasma, but she has suffered from melasma her whole life. The combination of sun protection plus the trifecta has really improved her skin to a point where you would literally never know that she's had any melasma. And so many people suffer from it. I did an entire video series on melasma, which you should definitely watch if you suffer from this. But at the foundation of it is sun protection. All right, so let's summarize. Lead a healthy lifestyle. Stay consistent with skincare, washing, moisturizing, etc. Avoid unnecessary treatments. Use actives early on. Always use sun protection. It's never too late to start. It's never too early to start. These are rules of thumb for anti-aging skin. So, which mistakes surprised you? Which ones are you doing? Tell me in the comments. And if you found this helpful, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also subscribe to the Karam MD Journal, skin education, facial rejuvenation education, all things to empower you to make the best decisions. I hope you all enjoyed this. Until next time, Dr. Amir Karam.